money is not in employment. Let me say that. It's not in employment.
It's not.
Money is in business. And of course, also high blood pressure. We also need to cultivate a culture of starting something that will employ one more person. I was a good friend to very senior people in that university, and they called me and asked me, actually one of them asked me, are you mad? Because, you know, you're leaving a very good job. I had prospects of rising up so fast. Now, the impact on the business was very huge because she started a similar kind of business. Of course, she carried so many of my clients. I almost closed the office there because I thought, now, how do I compete? If you don't have the strength to compete with others, then even natural selection will take you out. Some spheres of my life have suffered, you know, because of the time that I've given into the business. But it's a sacrifice. It's a necessary sacrifice you need to make. Because if you again say, I'm going to balance, this thing of balancing, I find it so much with motivational speakers. So I know that there is a time that I need to go to Burundi for this period. There's a time that I need to go to Rwanda for this period. Very soon we'll be opening Congo. So there's a time that I'll need to be in Congo for this period. The statistics in the world say up to 70%, I think up to 90% of businesses die in the first 3 years. Yes. Let it die. If it was to die, let it die. Because in the death of that business, you have lessons you learn.
Hello, good people. Welcome again to another episode of Unlimited by Muna. Here we discuss the principles of modern business and also educate on how to start, manage, and grow your business. Part of what we do is also championing the telling of stories of bold African businesses. And today we are not falling short of such a business because we have somebody who helps people get education both locally and abroad. And Mr. Alan, karibu sana Unlimited.
Santi, thank you very much.
Yeah, so we can start by you introducing yourself.
So my name is Alan Mwangi. I'm the CEO and founder, Smart Mind Education Consultants. Our work is to recruit students for universities abroad and to bring students from abroad to universities in Kenya. That's basically our work.
Okay, so you bring students from abroad to Kenya to study?
Yes.
Okay, so the people who consider us as abroad?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And also you take students from Kenya to other countries?
To other countries.
To study?
Yes.
Wow. So I'm thinking, like, maybe what motivated you or inspired you to start this kind of business?
Oh, largely because I worked in a university before, one of the leading universities in Kenya. I will not say which one. Maybe they have not paid me for any advertisement.
Okay, yeah, it's okay.
But I worked with them for about 6 years in the international office. I realized there's a gap at that time of students who wanted to get universities here in Kenya and there are processes that they need to do, but they did not have the ability to do it, especially because they were far away. And those processes, some of the processes here in Kenya require you to be present
on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground. So I took that as initiative to help the students do that. So when I started that, I realized there's even a bigger gap of taking students abroad. And so going abroad, where abroad here is not Kenya now, going abroad came after studying Kenya. Yes.
So you saw the gap?
I saw the gap.
And your business was mainly to bridge the gap?
Yes.
So this is not something maybe you're passionate about? Because I understand that people who start business because it was passion, but then here you saw a gap.
Actually, from the beginning, I didn't know it. Like before I was employed in that university, I did not know that this thing exists. So it is something that came in because I was exposed into the operations of such kind. So I was able to bring quite a number of students from abroad to that particular university. And I saw the need that those who did not want that particular university and they wanted another university, I saw the challenges they faced.
Or the others who were changing their mind?
Of course, because somebody will say, I need this course, and then that course is not available in that particular university at that time. So they say, okay, then which other university? Because I am told Kenya has good education system and all that. So which other university can I go to? So at that time now I take the initiative, I want to help this person. And then I saw that this can be a business, because from there I would charge a few shillings to the students and get something. Yeah.
Okay. So while you are telling me about what you do, there's something that's coming to my mind. You said that there are students who come, and then now they realize that the course they were expecting was not in that particular university. So maybe is there some consultancy that you offer to these students beforehand? Because I cannot imagine someone leaving their country to move to a different country, and maybe sometimes the colleges are not very near to each other. So there's the issue of relocation, moving to another place. So do you offer any kind of consultancy for the ease of the students?
Of course. First of all, when we are talking to students, mostly the students know or have an idea of what they want to do. But having the idea is one thing. Could be a broad idea. I want to be in a field, maybe somewhere in health sciences, for example. But health sciences, now you talk about medicine, you talk about physiotherapy, you talk about nutrition, you talk about all that. And the student doesn't know that particular, the breakdown. So our consultancy comes there. So most of the students will say, I want engineering. But going to civil, going to computer engineering, now it's our work to help them, to guide them into that direction. Now, when we guide them to that direction, now we expose them to the universities that offer those courses. Because you realize that if you take an example, let's say our biggest university, the University of Nairobi, we'll say that we have engineering, but maybe they don't have mechatronics engineering. So now we'll tell the student, if you want mechatronics engineering, then you can go to Jomo Kenyatta, because that is where you will find. Our universities don't have all the courses. Another one is something like astrophysics. Only University of Nairobi right now at the moment is offering that. So in the whole country. So when a student says, I want astrophysics, so and they had heard of Kenyatta University, for example, or Mount Kenya University, I tell them, no, those ones don't have. So that is now the part of consultancy. There are others who graduate, but they have no idea what they want to do. Or the results that come in, maybe after graduation, the certificate will guide. I wanted to do medicine, but I got a C in biology. Therefore, I cannot do medicine. So our consultancy comes there. We say, okay, now because you have a C, then these are the options, the other options available for you. Yes.
So we've skipped right into business, but I've not asked about maybe your background in business.
I have a long history in business. I think all the way from high school. The major one that we did very well, I think from Form 1 to Form 3, was selling biscuits. We bought cartons of biscuits and would sell and would make very good margin.
Just in the high school?
In the high school, just within the high school. It was very illegal, but it was to support a gap of finances that we also had, because we did not come from a very wealthy background. So we needed also to supplement some of the money you need. We need to eat well in the canteen, or
I understand the pressure of passing by the canteen, seeing people carrying chapatis.
I tell you, and also that time girlfriends were the main thing. So you need to buy someone something. So that's where we start. That's where I started. Basically, we were also salespeople. I don't know whether you've ever heard of these things. We call them kangumus. Ngumus. They were very common also. We would get them, bring them, and give us to sell. So we'd sell and get something. So for me, my sting to business started there. The background, the family background, we are not so much into business. My father was a teacher and a career teacher for that matter. And therefore him and business were not.
He was not familiar.
So when I finished high school, I had decided to start a business of selling shoes. And I had asked him to give me some money to do that.
Capital.
And he told me, no, you cannot do that. First of all, go to school and study. So when I went to the university, I built up on that, because now grown up and I'm an adult. I could make my own decisions.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of printing. So printing of posters, especially for campaigns.
Okay.
I did a lot of that.
So you were outsourcing those services?
Yes.
For people?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I could not, I did not have the machines.
Yeah.
But I could get people who want this, and I do for that. So a broker in between. I have sold phones in the university. I was able to sell clothes. When I left the university, I was employed, first of all in the bank for about 3 years. And within that time, I was able to establish 2 shops in town. So I was doing a lot of clothes, you know, the stalls and all that. But they were not very sustainable businesses. So I was not able to really follow up on them. So I don't have shops right now. But when I went back to the university as a staff and got this idea, I had already built a capacity of business. And so after that, when I got exposed to this, did a few travels outside the country and into other universities.
Oh, through the university
job? Through the university job. Okay. So when I went into other countries, into other universities, I saw what people abroad are doing in terms of trying to get students.
Okay.
I say this is a big thing because, you know, here in Kenya, we are so much focused on the students who are leaving high school. And, you know, there's few, the universities have become so many. Right now we have over 80 universities in this country.
Even more colleges.
And more colleges, the TVETs, because government has really invested in TVETs. And so when I saw what other people are investing in to go and get students, I said, this is something that we can do in Kenya.
Okay. So people abroad are investing in bringing students into their country?
Heavily.
Wow.
Heavily.
And that is something people don't know.
Yes. You know, in Kenya, we look at international students just as a student. In other countries, they look at international students or students who are coming from outside as contributors to their GDPs. They look at them the way we look at our tourists. The way tourists come to Kenya, we say we don't have dollars because tourists are not coming. Even the spending.
Yeah, they'll come and spend.
Yes, because if a student comes from, let's take an example of the most populous country in Africa, Nigeria. If a student comes from Nigeria, they come to Kenya, they will pay a little bit higher than what a self-sponsored student would pay in Kenya.
Yeah, sure.
So taking an example of a course, maybe that would cost about 150,000 per year, the student will pay 200,000. This student, when he comes, he will get a house. So the landlord around that place will benefit. He will start eating around and then moving around. And then because most of the students who go abroad to study, they have spare money to take around. So they will visit Mombasa, other places. So at the end of the day, the amount of money that this student is bringing to the country is not only the school fees.
Okay.
So these countries, some countries, I can tell you, there are countries who survive solely on international students.
Wow.
Yes. It is like the major contributor to the economy.
Okay.
Yes. And so SmartMind, when SmartMind was born, it was born purely to do that first.
Okay.
Initially, it was
to bring students from abroad.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the first business.
Like the first business that you had in mind.
Yes.
You didn't even think of taking students
Not
abroad?
even thinking.
Okay.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know the process of doing it.
Okay.
I saw in those countries that they are actually bringing in people, but I didn't know. Now, if a student wants to go to Canada, what is the procedure? In between. SmartMind was to bring students to Kenya, and we were to start that. We still do it. At the moment, I think we are close to 350 students now in Kenya from abroad. It's a big number. That one's a very big number in our calculations. And then I started meeting people. You know, we go online. We developed a website, put it online. And then from there, we started getting interest from abroad. So universities in the UK, in Canada, write to me and say, we'd want you to recruit for us.
Wow, from Kenya now?
Yes. So I didn't know how. So I signed many contracts with them, but I didn't know how to do it.
You don't even have an idea
I
of
don't know how to do it.
getting
I
those
just
students.
just signed the contracts. I started thinking now, what will happen with this? Luckily, I met someone who had been exposed to that industry for about 2 years. And it was just by luck, or let's say by God's direction. Because we didn't know each other. She just wrote to me on email. We met, we had a cup of tea. I told her, she told me, money is in the abroad.
Yeah, taking people abroad.
Yes. This one of Kenya, you just do it because you're opening a new market.
Yeah.
But money is in abroad.
Yeah.
So I told her, then join me. So she joined me, and for the last 6 years we've been together and done very great.
So now she became your partner?
Yes.
Okay. So you worked together and she brought in the skills?
Yes.
And you brought in maybe the idea?
I just brought in the company, the name, the establishment. Okay. She brought the skills and she taught me a lot. She trained me in that. And we have done great things. I think right now as we speak now, we have over 200 students abroad. Abroad? Yes. From Smart Mind? From Smart Mind, people who maybe did not even know if there are such kind of opportunities abroad? Yes. Okay. Even in countries that, other countries that did not know that. Yes. So I understand that many people, especially here in Kenya, really discourage the issue of partnerships, especially when it comes to business. Now, have you been able to maintain partnership in your business? You've been in business for how many years now? For close to 7 years. 7 years? Yes. So 7 years is not a short time for you to maintain the same partner. So how are you able to maintain that partnership in a way that works for both of you? Okay. And I will say actually, for multiple of us, not both. Okay. We are now more partners in the business. You even brought in more partners? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Now, one thing that really worked for me is I got very good advice from a friend of mine. And he told me, you should always remember that you're the vision carrier of the business. And you need to know why you're bringing in a partner. Okay. So many people bring in partners to raise funds. Oh yeah. Or to bridge a gap of skill that they don't have. But especially the partnerships that are formed at the initial stage, of the business, most of them do not survive because between the two of you or between the many of you, there is that one person that is carrying the vision. Yeah, more than the others. More than the others. And so if that one person who is carrying the vision gets other partners and mostly make them equal partners, from there, they start having issues of overburdening their one person with work. Especially the vision carrier. Yes. So in most cases, you'll find that this person will not have, the other people do not have the energy, the interest and all that. Especially at the beginning. Because we all know business is not easy. Especially, at the beginning, it's not very easy. Yeah. So, the advice I got from this guy is stand, attract. Stand somewhere, attract people. Don't go looking for them. Okay. Okay? Because you're going to look for what you think you don't have. Yeah. But when you stand, they will see what you don't have and try to bring it. Oh. Then they will bring it at your terms. So when they come, when the lady told me this and this and this, I told her, now you can come then, we work together at these terms. Yes. Okay. So now it's on your terms. So yeah, mostly it's on my terms. Yeah. I have tried my best to make sure that I still hold a majority in the company. And therefore from there, I am able to make some decisions that for people who are not the vision carriers will not see them as popular. Okay. Because they are decisions you make at the point where this is a make or break. So there are decisions that you make and everybody else will say, that decision you made is not good. Okay. But you have the gut feeling because mostly entrepreneurs will go with the gut feeling. Yeah. Do I go to this country? If I decide to go to this country, I burn my fingers, I will come and show people I burnt my fingers and I'm happy with that. Yeah. But I did not go and taken you there and burnt our fingers.
Yeah.
So you're not blaming me, or you burnt our
Yeah.
fingers. You know, I went there, burnt my fingers, and came back.
Yeah.
I am able to make those decisions, and therefore that's the reason why it has taken that. You know, it has been very. It has been. Let's say it has been one rosy partnership.
Okay.
Very rosy. It has
And
been
smooth.
a good one.
Okay.
We have never had any big fight. Fights have been there, you know.
Of course, you have to disagree to agree.
Yeah, we'll disagree here and there.
Yeah.
She has been very helpful.
Yeah.
And I think if I was told to choose again, I would still choose her as
a partner in business.
Yes, in business.
Okay. So looking at how far you've come in business, I understand that there are challenges to any kind of business.
Yes.
Maybe what are some of the main challenges that you've encountered in this kind of business?
Okay. So now the main challenge, let me divide this into two, because I have, as we said, we have like two kind of businesses running.
Yeah.
So one is study in Kenya. Study in Kenya, the main challenge has been acceptability of the model by universities.
For the Kenyan model?
Yes.
Okay.
By the business model being accepted by the universities in Kenya.
Maybe you can elaborate on that, as in which business model? Your model or the university model?
Our model,
okay.
The business model.
Okay.
Now, this kind of business is an old one. It's not new.
Yeah.
This kind of business of recruitment of students has been there from the 1950s.
Okay.
You heard of, I'm sure you've heard of the airlift.
Yeah.
By Kina Tomboya and Kina Wangari Maathai.
Yeah, the airlift program.
Yeah, that one. It is same.
Yeah, similar.
Yes. Universities all over the world must have a component of internationalization, because a university exists to solve a problem or to bring solutions to problems of the world.
Yeah. And
therefore they cannot afford to be local.
Yeah.
They must attract international students.
Yeah.
Now, because of how many universities we have in the world, the way they have developed, the infrastructure that has been set up, the investment that has been set up, many universities have become very competitive.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Harvard. You can go to another university in Arizona or in another place in somewhere in Brighton in the UK or somewhere like that,
and get the same good education at a more affordable rate.
Yes. Okay. But now, because there are those universities that are very, very well established and everyone wants to go there, what happens to these others which are investing a lot?
Yeah.
They go seeking, they go looking for
for partnerships.
For students and all that. Yeah. Now, they cannot be in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Uganda and all that. Yeah. So they look for people like us who will represent them here and go get students for them. Oh. Then they pay.
Okay.
Okay.
Who pays? The university?
The university pays.
How is the university paying it? They're the ones who need people to pay.
They need the student to pay.
Okay.
They pay the person who is getting the students.
Oh, so now because you're the one who is getting them the student,
yes.
So they pay you to get them the students.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Now that is the model.
Oh.
Okay. So now that model in Kenya has not taken root. So universities will not pay me to get them students.
Okay.
As I said, we have more than 300 students here. Yeah. So these 300 students, none of them has been paid for by the university. Okay. So now I have to charge the student.
Yeah. Now,
charging the student is not sustainable. How much can you charge a student?
Yeah, especially through all the trouble you go through.
Yes. Yeah. Something very little. They will even say, I don't have money, I'm a student.
Yeah.
So you don't charge them much. So it cannot sustain a business.
Yeah.
So that acceptability of the model, going to a university saying, give us a contract, bring you students, you pay us a commission, has not been accepted. It's the biggest challenge.
Right now.
Yes, it's the biggest challenge. But I know, I'm very positive about it.
Yeah.
It will come to happen.
Okay.
And so Smart Mind being a pioneer in this area, we are very well placed to work with universities.
And do you feel like the Kenyan universities have enough students, or they still have a gap?
They have a big gap.
So maybe they should open their eyes.
A huge one, I tell you. As a country, I think, some universities have a capacity of more than 200,000 students.
200,000?
Yeah. Because look at the investment in JKUAT, for example. Look at that university itself.
Very big
look
land.
at that is the land. Look at the campuses they have all over. How many students do they need? They need so many
students.
Look at the other areas, other ways of operation, you know, online, part-time classes. We still have very huge gap, or, you know, we still have not filled in.
Okay.
And I think as a country, because we have a very good education system, this is what I tell people. Many people say, what do you mean by a good, you know, they think that Kenya has a very good education system. We are very mature. We have enough courses. We have enough capacity of teaching. We have universities that have developed good laboratories and land for agriculture and all that. We have capacity to bring in. This is not out of research, but looking at it from my seat, I think we have capacity of bringing in not less than 20,000 students in this country.
Wow.
Yes.
So there's such a gap.
Yes.
So have you been able, on your part, have you thought about maybe approaching those universities?
I have. And that's why I'm saying I'm very positive, because we have been able now to work with a few, but not to the point where we sign. It's to the point where they participate in our activities outside the country. And so they have started seeing, and they're sending people out. Yes. They had started the approach of developing campuses in those countries.
But it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. It's open to geopolitics. So if a country decides, oh, we are not happy with Kenya, they say,
you get closed overnight.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, for instance, I'm a student and maybe I wish to study in Canada. Now take me through the process that is required for me to, from the start, like what I need up to me, at the point I'll be getting admitted in that university. Okay.
First of all, you need to know what you want to do. So we identify the course. So our initial stage in the process is counseling. So we'll sit with you or we'll talk over the WhatsApp or anything and say, okay, I want to do this. I want to do business. And I'm particularly interested in economics. So we will look for universities. We have partner universities. We do not work with any university. We work with partner universities. So we look at the partner universities. We say, now this university has this, this course, and the amount is this in terms of the fee. The living costs is this. Are you able to afford? You say yes. Then from there, we do the application. So the application takes about 2-3 days. Most of these universities do that. So 2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days for an application?
You get an admission, yes.
Okay.
And that is the challenge we have here in this country.
Here in Kenya, it took me 2 months.
That is the challenge we face every day. There's an application I did in the University of Nairobi. It took 6 months.
6 months?
Yes.
So even by the time you get the application, even maybe the semester is over.
Or even the person has already given up, has gone to Malaysia.
But you know, that's not sustainable.
It's not.
So I feel like your model is working very well. 2 to 3 days is a good time.
Yeah, 2 to 3 days we have the offer letter. So from there now we will guide you. You have to do the payment, the first payment to the university. From there they give you the letter that is required for visa processing. So we start now the visa processing. So
visa processing takes how long?
For Canada specifically, about 2 months.
2 months.
Okay. The visa processes are different depending on the countries, because there are those things that they require to see, and also there are some checks they require to do. And other countries would want to attract more people, so the visa procedure for them is shorter.
Okay. So after the visa?
So after the visa now, of course we will sit and know, do you need accommodation? There are people who will go and they have relatives and they go there and they want to stay with them. There are others who say, I'm a grown-up, can figure it out.
I'll go.
Yes. Then, do you need flights? So we will point you to the people who can do flights for you. The university, you see, we are working with partner universities. So the universities will help us with the process of picking you up from the airport. There are some countries like Malaysia, you cannot leave the airport without the university coming for you.
Oh.
So we have to make those arrangements early. And then now you are picked up and you are taken to where you are supposed to. Then the process of enrollment starts, which is now what we call here in Kenya registration process. Okay. So you are registered and you start your studies.
Your classes.
Yes.
So looking at how you are, looking at the whole process of admission, I did not hear you mention scholarships, yet it's something that I know they come to play.
Yes.
When it comes to the whole process.
Yes.
So maybe how do scholarships come to play, and how do they help for any student?
Okay. Education around the world is not cheap. It's let's say, I don't want to use the word expensive, but it is not for everyone. And also, it just like here in Kenya, you know, where we had the change of model by the government, and you saw many students not joining in the first semester because of funds. Because of the funds. So education itself is expensive.
Yeah.
However, there are people who are able to pay, and you will come to us. Say, somebody will come and say, "I love the UK. I want to go study in the UK." We give you the bill. You say, "This is not for me." Which is the other closer country in this? So now the option of you choosing which one you'll get, now it's on you. There are others who will say, "I love the UK. Can I get discounts?" Then we look at the universities that are ready to offer discounts, which are the scholarships.
Okay.
Remember, universities everywhere are in business.
Yeah.
They're also raising funds.
Yeah.
There's no government in the world that is offering education for free.
Nobody. Yeah.
Even where we have the locals saying it's for free, it's paid by the taxpayers. So there's a way they collect it from the taxpayers. Even the job students we have in Kenya, the ones who go through the joint admission board, their money, their education to the university is not the 30,000 or whichever amount they pay. It is the 30,000 plus what the government pays.
Oh, there's an amount that government pays.
Yes, there's an amount that government pays. So for that, the university is able to generate income. Now, the universities that we work with are not in the business of giving scholarships, but they offer the scholarships to lessen the burden, or even, you know, to attract more students. So we will tell you there are these universities that are offering these scholarships. Okay. So for us, we give you scholarships that are guaranteed. Okay. So I have 200 scholarships, for example, then I'll say I need 200 students. Oh. So if there's 201 students, this one student, I don't have the scholarship for them. Oh. Yeah.
So there's a specific number.
Yes.
Maybe are there misconceptions around this kind of business?
Of course, the big one is that many people don't know it. So they don't know exactly what we do. I did a presentation one day in Rwanda, and you know, it was a big school. They had called the parents and all that. So I did a presentation, and one person student said, "You guys are a scam." Oh. I asked him, "What do you mean?" He said, "You have said all these things, but you have not told us how much we are going to pay you." And I said, "You're not paying me anything." Yeah. He said, "Now then you are more a scam, because how are you making money? Yeah. How are you flying in all the way from Kenya and staying here in hotels and all that?" They don't know the model of the business. That is the misconception. That is one of them. The other thing is that when we do adverts and all that, the first thing that people think is that we are giving scholarships. So we get a lot of inquiries. You have scholarship, you have scholarship, you have scholarship.
Or scholarships just come by from time to time, but it's not all the time.
It's not all the time. Okay. And there are universities that will say, we have decided from now on until further notice, we'll give a 50% scholarship from anyone coming from Africa. Okay? So we know, like now from the time we started business, there are some universities that we have worked with. For the last 6 years, they have been giving us 50% scholarships.
Oh, and it makes it more affordable.
Yeah, it makes it more affordable for other people. Okay. But there are others who will say, we are giving scholarship this year. or the people who are coming in for the January intake only. So we will say we have this, take advantage because it will cover your whole study.
Okay.
And then from September intake, we will not guarantee a scholarship.
Okay.
Yes. So those are the kind of misconceptions we have. Then many people think it's for the rich.
Yeah.
So start thinking about guys who have gone to international schools and such kind. They think that is for them. The world is opening up very much. Many people have the what we call the traditional destinations: Canada, USA, UK, Australia. Those are the traditional ones, but they don't know Poland. They don't know Malaysia.
Oh, all those countries are now opening up.
They have opened up, and we have very many students going to those places. Okay. Cyprus, Germany, Turkey, all those places. We have now very many students going there.
Okay.
So those are, many people, when you talk to them, they say, "Oh, you take people to Canada." Right now, if you go to the TikTok now, there are so many videos about Canada,
studying Canada,
Canada. So many people are thinking Canada is the only place. No. Yeah.
Okay. So how are you able to make sure that your services are inclusive? You've said that it's not expensive.
Yes.
So I'm thinking of somebody who maybe comes from a lower background. How do you make sure that your services are also inclusive? Are there universities that charge maybe the same price as in Kenya? You know, because maybe we can deal with the flights because maybe sometimes there are people who can do Harambee and pay for the flight maybe the first time. When they get there are students who get a job, they're able to finance their life here and there. But then how are you able to make sure that they are inclusive to all these kind of people? Because as you have mentioned, people think that it's for the rich.
Yes.
So how are they inclusive even for the people who can't afford, who feel like they can't afford?
Okay, let me put it this way. First of all, we have tried our best not to introduce the concept of work in the business.
Okay.
Because we don't want to overpromise.
Okay.
The world, the economies of the world right now, mostly in many places, are not absorbing a lot of work as people think.
Okay.
Many people coming, they will not get the jobs, or they will not get the jobs they would want to get.
Okay.
So the work bit, we do not focus so much on it.
Okay.
So the question we ask, whether it's through Harambee or through sponsorship by organizations or by other people, can you afford?
So first, that's the first question.
That's the first question. Can you afford to be in the UK for a 1-year master's program without getting a job? That's the first question we ask.
Okay.
So that you don't shift your mind from study to work.
Okay.
So, you will get work. We know that. We know because the many countries in the world, they have given an opportunity for students to work for 20 hours a week.
Okay.
Maximum of 20 hours a week, as long as you are in school at that time.
Okay.
During holidays, during summer, you can work for 40 hours a week. That like a normal person. So we know you will get the people who go and they will get jobs, but it is not our focus as Smart Mind. It's not our focus because our focus is education.
Okay.
Now we ask you from the beginning, can you afford? Then, as I told you, there are so many countries that are coming up now with very affordable rates. There's a country that has courses right now that are about $1,000 a semester.
$1,000 a semester?
Yes, that's like 150,000.
Yeah.
150,000. There in Kenya, medicine is
250.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's affordable.
It's affordable.
Yeah, definitely.
So the courses, you'll see that there are countries that are quite affordable.
Okay.
There are countries that have invested a lot in making sure that international students are comfortable. For example, offering free transportations, offering discounts even in shops. I remember in one of the countries I visited when I was employed, I went there into a university. They took me as a student. They gave me a card, and I would get up to 40% discounts even for meals. So there are countries that have really invested in that.
Okay.
So you'll find that as you're saying, when we say rich here, we don't mean rich in wealth. We mean rich in affordability.
Okay.
Yes. So we will say it is for people who can afford, and those who can afford, they will range from, can I afford $1,000? Can I afford $35,000? Yes.
Okay. But the 7 years that you've been in business, maybe what do you think that are some of the qualities that the whole process has been able to teach you into the person that you are right now?
Okay. Mainly patience. I think because of having been employed for 6 years in the university, 3.5 years in the bank, that's about nine and a half. I thought everything just comes. Maybe I'd already forgotten the risks that I was able to take even from high school and all that.
Yeah.
Because with time when you're employed, you
have to be safer.
Yeah, feel comfort and safe.
Yeah.
But when you get into business, one of the things that you learn is to wait.
Yeah.
To be able to wait for something to happen. So patience came in. I have grown in patience. I'm sure even my wife can say that.
Yeah.
Then I have also seen the need to have a lot of faith in a process, to believe a process. Sometimes not very clear process. I have been able to set up offices in two other countries.
To other countries.
Yes. And there are countries that you're not sure. You're not very sure. The country that I set up office outside Kenya as the first one, I visited once.
So you've gone there once? I
had gone once.
And then you go the second time to open an office?
Yes. I had gone once. I looked at the country. I was not sure. One of the things we realize is that as a country, Kenya, we are very way ahead.
Way ahead.
In terms of development and all that. Internet, connectivity and all that.
Roads.
Yeah, roads. Freedoms, information, the way it is coming. But some countries are really behind in that. Okay. And those are the countries that you go there and the only thing you employ when you are trying to set up something is faith. You just believe that things will not happen badly. The other thing is, I don't know how to put it in English, but kujituma.
Sending yourself.
Yeah, sending yourself, kabisa.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I would not be able to market, for example. I didn't know.
You had it in you.
Yes. Yes. My background has nothing to do with business or marketing. Nothing, kabisa. My education background has nothing to do with that. But I was able to, go talk to people, convince them, know that. The person who convinced me to open that first office in Burundi was one student who converted on my first visit.
Okay.
When I went there, and he said yes, and we did the process, and actually before I left, he left.
Oh.
Before I left the country, yes, he left and landed and took photos and sent to us.
Wow.
The next time I converted more than 10.
Wow.
Because I think that gave me the energy.
The energy, yeah.
So I think I'm able now to convince people because of the journey of entrepreneurship.
The whole journey of entrepreneurship.
Yes. Okay. The other thing is being very, do I say hardcore or do I say what? You just believe and believe, and stubborn. You become stubborn in what you believe in. I think that has come very strongly. Okay. From the beginning, I had many people saying, you live a very good job. Employed, can you imagine? I had just been employed. I had taken 2 contracts with that university, 2-year contracts, finished them. In the year that I was given permanent and pensionable, which is the most comfortable in an institution of government, that is the year I decided to leave.
And why maybe couldn't you have done it part-time?
because of conflict of interest.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you see now here, I am, the initial idea, as I told you, was to bring students to Kenya. But if I'm working in a university, I should prioritize my university.
Sure.
And if I'm prioritizing my university, then I should not charge.
Yeah.
So there's no business.
Yeah.
I was good friend to very senior people in that university, and they called me and asked me, actually one of them asked me, are you mad? Because, you know, you're leaving a very good job. I had prospects of rising up so fast because maybe politically I was correct.
Yeah.
I had prospects of that. But I decided, no, let me go.
Okay.
And there are times that I sat under trees and asked myself questions of why did I leave? And you know, that has developed a strong urge of high-headedness.
Okay.
High-headedness. You know, you say high-headedness. Huh? So right now you tell me this will not work. I look for all the reasons why it should work.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't look for any reason why it should not work. Yes.
So you definitely learn through the process.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And those are things you cannot be, you know, those are things you cannot be born with.
Yeah. They develop with time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even those who have done businesses with their parents and all that, you'll find that sometimes you're not able to be as tolerant, as resistant as the parent, because them, they have gone through the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe you as a businessman, what is that one very difficult decision that you have ever had to make that just changed the trajectory of your business? I'm not sure if it's changed anything, but did it have an impact? Yes.
I think my biggest, one very difficult decision I had to make is to fire my first employee. Yes. Especially because she was from a country that I was a foreigner.
Okay.
And we had started, when I started, and I said, when I got the first student, I went there and now established an office.
Oh, your first office was in Burundi?
Yes.
Not Kenya?
No, my first office outside Kenya.
Oh, outside Kenya, okay.
Yes. So when I went to Burundi and decided now I want to have a proper establishment, for the first few months, I got in somebody to work with there, because again, I wouldn't stay there for long. Maybe I would go there for like 2 weeks and come back. But I would leave somebody who is following up with the parents, with the students and all that. So I brought in that one person. We ate the dust with her. Kula vumbi na yeye in terms of nini.
Yeah.
And we developed until we had an office, until we had other employees. And then she decided to do other things.
Okay.
Which were sabotaging the business. So when I realized that, I was very depressed by that.
Because it's not like maybe in Nairobi and Mombasa, you can just take a flight and you'll be there in half an hour.
Yes.
Here now it's like across borders.
It's across borders. You have to plan, you know, it's very expensive to even travel there. And this is the initial stages of the business. So when I went there and talked to her, and of course she cried a lot as I was about to fire her. That was very difficult for me. I almost forgave her. Almost.
Or cried together.
Or cried together. I did that one meeting, I remember. I did that meeting because I did it, I just arrived on a Sunday, slept on Monday, went to the office, called them for a meeting, had that meeting, fired her by around 10 a.m. and I left. I went and slept.
You took time to find a replacement, or it was planned for?
Okay, now the good thing is that I was doing it when there were still other people there.
Okay.
So now I had to take time there. So it took almost 3 months there. And from there now got other people and brought in.
Okay.
Now, the impact on the business was very huge. Even of that, because our work is mainly relational. You see, it's in the service industry. So before a student converts to all the way going, we're talking about a gap of minimum 2 weeks, maximum even a year. Somebody you create even a friendship. Even the parents, you create friendship with them.
Yeah.
Now you imagine she had created so many friendships, and therefore, because she started a similar kind of business, of course, she carried so many of my clients. So the impact on the business was huge. I almost closed the office there because I thought, now, how do I compete?
Yeah.
But
I have somebody who is from there.
Who is there? Who is from there? Who is there? But I realized that you know, if you don't have the strength to compete with others, then even natural selection will take you out. So you better develop those skills.
Competitive.
Because I don't have an iron fist over even these others who are still my employees to know that they cannot go and do other things. They can still do other things. And start a competing one and just get an office right next to my office. Yes, it has happened here in Kenya many times. Even these guys, the pioneers of the industry, will tell you. You know, this kind of business, you cannot study it in school. There is no bachelor's of business in student recruitment. So we learn it on the job, kwa ground. Sasa ukiwa kwa ground, si watu wanachanganya.
They're also learning.
Yeah. So when I sat down and started now thinking about that, because even my own partner was once an employee somewhere. And I said, okay, maybe wacha tungangane tu. But it had a very big impact. And that is one of the decisions that every time I talk about it, it gives me chills.
Okay. Sorry about that. I understand that everyone has to go through something for them to become something. Okay, so you have offices in different countries.
Yes.
And I understand that the business, mainly the person who carries the burden, the biggest burden of the business is the founder. So being the founder, how are you able to distribute yourself such that your presence is, how can I say, those people do not carry your vision.
Yes.
And you cannot be there 24/7.
Yes.
How are you sure that you're able to distribute your time such that you are available for those businesses?
Okay.
Considering you are also a family man.
Now, you know, a long time ago, I used to wonder why business people die alone. Lonely. Lonely.
Yeah.
You know, it's because of the balances.
Yeah.
There are so many things that need to happen. And you're needed everywhere. At the beginning of any initiative, time is of essence, a lot of it. And therefore, you find that there are some people who will suffer. I know that some spheres of my life have suffered, you know, because of the time that I've given into the business. But it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's a necessary sacrifice you need to make. Because if you again say, I'm going to balance, this thing of balancing, I find it so much with motivational speakers. In reality, it is not. You cannot.
There are those that will get a higher percentage than others.
Exactly. But with time, it becomes easier. With time, it becomes easier. I think one advice I give to many entrepreneurs is, first of all, try your best to build a system. A system. It could be a technological system. It could be just a system that you alone are able to
come up with.
Yes, and you are somewhere you can be felt somewhere here and there. Now, our kind of business has a lot of contracting. You have to contract this, contract this, contract this. The contracting has to be done centrally. So we do it centrally. So I know any person who comes to Smart Mind in my office and says, I am going to Canada, there are many universities that I've contracted in Canada that will be able to accommodate that person. So in the event that somebody goes somewhere else, I will ask questions. Why? Okay. Then now, technologically, we have been able to develop a system ourselves, which is able to guide. There are these students coming from Rwanda. There are these students coming from Burundi. There are these students coming from the DR Congo, you know, like that. And now we are able to distribute them. Now, physical presence. for any entrepreneur is very important.
Yeah.
So we have been I've been able to. It's like something that is developing itself. Not that now I have a calendar that this month, but I know at least 4 to 5 months in a year, I'm not within the country.
Okay.
I know that. So I know that there is a time that I need to go to Burundi for this period. There's a time that I need to go to Rwanda for this period. Very soon we'll be opening Congo. So there's a time that I'll need to be in Congo for this period. So now that has helped me to balance, quote unquote, to balance. Then making the best of any other time you get. So if I am with my family, I make the best of it. So I don't think my children will grow calling me uncle. They
still know who's dad around. Yeah.
So that's one. And then, of course, we have many other social things. You have friends, you have church, you have everything. So I'm able to try, quote unquote, balance. But of course,
balance is just a word used by motivational speakers.
Yeah. It's not
really possible. You just try.
You try. Yeah. Because you think, you will find that if you decide to say balance so much, everyone that you have around you, they have interests. Every relationship that we create mostly are developed around interests. And therefore, you don't know the interests of even your staff. So you need to be aware
and keen
of what is happening. So so that you're able to mitigate. I tell my employees, I tell them, you're very young, because most of them are very young. Actually, they are in their 20s. I tell them now, the future is bigger. Your future is bigger than mine. Dream big. If you live today, smart mind cannot die. Because the vision bearer is me, is not you. You have to mitigate the interest so that somebody is not saying, I want to be here so that I get a salary as I establish mine like this. If it has a conflict of interest, tafadhali enda hata wewe usumbuane na dunia kama mimi. I don't need to fund you and you're taking all my time doing your own things. Yes.
Sure. Okay. So looking at how long you've been in business, I'm sure every year you've been making some progress. What are some of your future projections in terms of development moving forward?
Okay. I think a main one is increasing the numbers, because it's a numbers game. It's you're talking about the value of the value comes in from the number of people you are able to bring in. So we, as we said, the offices are 3 now. Let's say the operations are 3. Rwanda, Kenya, Burundi, the main ones. We are looking at the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we are looking at Somalia. So those countries are in the pipeline in terms of having physical presence. We work with people from there. I have students from Congo, I have students from Somalia, I have students from Zimbabwe. So we are looking at gradually opening up that way. The other projection that we have, a big one, is to enforce our systems for them to work for us in those countries. We don't have to really be there. We want to make it as easy as possible for a student thinking about university and not necessarily coming to the office. So from the comfort of your seat, you can say, I want to go to Canada. We give you the processes. You take your documents, you upload them in our system. We do all that. You do the payments in our system if there's need for payment. So we are working towards integrating so many of the systems to the point that maybe even fee paying can be done directly through the system. We have some countries that are very far behind in terms of technological advancement. There are countries that cannot do a wire transfer as easy as you can do right now. Because for you, the only thing you need to go is to go to the bank, do this, give a check, then you wait for the TT. There are others who have to queue for more than 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. We want to see how that, how we can bridge in that gap for them, you know, so that maybe money is concentrated somewhere and sent to the. The other thing is that in this country, when we started, we went to Burundi first. Okay. We had an office here, but it was so much supporting the office in Burundi. Okay. So when we started, we went to Burundi first. So in Kenya, many people think we are new. Oh. But now we are so much focused on Kenya, on getting students from Kenya, and we are out. Now we are out, going to schools, going to organizations, you know, that now getting as many as possible. So we want to now build the name home, you know, bring Smart Mind back to where it's supposed to.
I know there are so many people out there who wish to start a business, maybe not like yours, any other business, but maybe they are at their job, they have something they're passionate about, but they're scared of starting. I want you to look at the camera and just speak to that person. You took that leap of faith, you took that risk. What will you tell that person?
Now, anyone who wants to start a business, the first step that I tell anyone that I meet who tells me I want to start a business is start. There is no two way about it. It's start and start, because business is not something that you can predetermine. It's something that you grow with. It's something that, you know, in the statistics in the world say up to 70%, I think up to 90% of businesses die in the first 3 years. Yes, let it die. If it was to die, let it die. Because in the death of that business, you have lessons you learn. So the first step is start. That's the first step. The second step is call yourself for a meeting and ask yourself, do I have faith? Because in business, faith is a very major driving factor. Now, those are the softwares of business. Of course, the hardware of business, many people will say is the capital. Many people will say it's the capital. The hardware of business will say it's a capital. Now, I think money comes in the sustainability of the business. It is not in the starting of the business. It's in the sustainability, because let no one lie to you that you will not need it, that you just need a vision. You may need to set up an office, but today you may need to start like me. I started from my son's bedroom with just a laptop. And I started. I talked to the person who developed my first website was my brother-in-law. Yeah, and so
you must have been free.
Of course. Okay. Yeah, he has some rights to it. Maybe. Maybe he'll sue me one day and tell me when I'll be very, very rich, he'll say I need some percentage. Yeah. But when you start attracting the energies around that business. So that energy that you attract, it will include money, it will include networks, it will include systems that you need to start, it will include ideas of growth or even of change of trajectory. As we said, I started for study in Kenya, and then a new idea came in and we changed, and you start going into other directions. If you're seated somewhere, money is not in employment. Let me say that. It's not in employment. It's not. Money is in business. And of course, also high blood pressure. Sugar is also in business. Salt. All those, they're also in business. But also golf is in business. Yeah. You know, the soft life people talk about is in business. The Mercedes. They're all that in business. And we also need to cultivate a culture of starting something that will employ one more person. Yeah. I think in this country or in this part of the world, that is something that we really need to emphasize on. Get into business, and when you get into business, don't eat alone. Employ one more person. Yes. And when you employ one more person, you're able to delegate. And the other very major one, and I think many people go wrong with this is not differentiating between them as an entrepreneur and them as a technician. You know, that's technical, but what I mean is this: are you the vision bearer, carrier? You know, you sit down and develop your business, or are you the one doing the daily activities? You may start from doing the daily
yourself.
Yes, but if you're the person who is the entrepreneur, you need to learn very, very fast to build a system that will bring in other people that will be able to be doing other things. You know, if I don't know, if maybe you're starting a hotel, for example, you cannot be the person waking up at 5 to cook, and then from there you want to serve, you want to clean, you want to be at the cashier's place and all that. Then at the end of the day, you want to be the one balancing the figures. At the end of that day, you'll be closing that restaurant because you'll be fatigued, you'll be tired. But when you now start bringing in other people, you start delegating part of the jobs. And then at the end of the day, you'll find yourself, you're now just thinking about, how do I open another one? How do I bring in this kind of cuisine? How do I, you know, like that. So I think that is the advice I would give to entrepreneurs.
Wow, that one was heavy.
Thank you.
So I think we've come to the end of our interview, and we really appreciate the insightful words. If there's one thing I'm taking home, and I'll keep insisting, especially in this channel, Unlimited, where we just maybe educate people on businesses, how to start, manage, and grow. One thing I'm taking home today is, you want to start something, is start. And even after starting, usikule peke yako. Don't eat alone. Employ one more person. I think that is what I'm carrying home today.
Thank you.
Yes. So we've had a great time, Mr. Alan. I hope you open that branch and it's going to be also successful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And I believe with this new business you're opening, you're not starting from the way you started Burundi. Because there you are starting from a place of, maybe now you are a starter.
Yes.
But now you are starting from a place of strength.
Yes.
So I believe it is going to pick up much faster than how it did with Burundi. So thank you so much if you've been able to say this long. I hope you liked the video, and make sure you give us a like, give us a comment, and if possible, give us a subscribe. It helps grow the channel. And if this is something that you like to watch all the time, share with your friends and make sure that you tell them about us so that we keep growing. Stay blessed. Let's meet in the next.